Thank you, everyone, for attending tonight's town board meeting. I'd like to make a motion that we open up the board meeting of May 20th, 2024.
I will make that motion.
Call the question.
Bingham, aye.
Scancarello, aye.
Hool, aye. All right.
Richardson,
excellent.
aye.
So we have some announcements. This weekend is Memorial Day. And as usual, the town of Monroe will be hosting their Memorial Day parade. That will be on Sunday, May 26th. Where is the? And that will start at Smith Clove Park. The step-off for the parade is at 1:30. We'll go from Smith Clove Park all the way out to the Veterans Cemetery, the Monroe Cemetery on 17M. And we hope that everybody comes out and joins us. Should be a wonderful day.
Weather looks good.
Yeah, it does look good. The other announcement that we have is Orange County is looking for some foster parents. So if anyone is interested in learning more about becoming a foster parent, please visit the county's website, orangecountygov.com, and head to the Department of Social Services page, and you can find the information that you're looking for there. On June 9th, Walk MS is hosting their annual walk at Airplane Park. The setup will start at 8 a.m. They're looking for some volunteers. They're looking for anyone who's able to come and help register people, give out water, organize people at the starting line. So that's always a really good event, and it's a great opportunity for you to come out and meet your fellow neighbors. If anyone is interested in volunteering for the MS Walk, they can contact Jessica Rind. She's the volunteer engagement at jessica.rind@nmss.org to sign up. All of this information is on our website. Sal?
Food Truck Festival, yes, Saturday, June 15th, 11 a.m., 7 p.m. We are all set with the food trucks. We've maxed out at 20. Our music lineup for the June event is Taurus, Sons of Hudson, Vinyl Tap, Ladies of the 80s, and Hudson Blue. So come on out to that event. It's a great time. If you've never been, if you've heard about it, it's just a wonderful event, a great community event. So come on out and support that.
Do we know who is the recipient this year?
It's the Ladies Auxiliary.
Of the American Legion?
Yeah.
Harriman.
Of Harriman. Oh,
Ladies
that's right,
Auxiliary.
Harriman Engine Company. Yep,
Meg Sarge and her wonderful team.
yep, that's excellent. They do a lot of really good work.
They do.
And
Well deserved.
It is well deserved. Our final announcement is that June 2nd, we are going to welcome back the Village of Monroe Farmers Market, which will once again return to the commuter lot on Sundays from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Come out, get your fresh fruit, your fresh veggies. They always have some pretty good stuff out there. And there's also live local music, which is a nice treat, too.
Pickle guys there, too. That guy's got great pickles.
Which one?
Dr.
Doc
Pickle.
Yeah.
Great pickles.
All right, excellent. So I'd like to make a motion to open the continuation of the public hearing for the short-term rental application for 13 Ruby Road.
Bingham will second.
Call the question.
Bingham, aye.
Scancarello, aye.
Hool, aye.
Richardson, aye.
Did anyone sign up for public comment?
Paul Carico.
Hello, Mr. Carico. So if you could just turn the mic on, there's a switch right there on the top. Just slide it up toward you.
I think I got it, yes?
It sounds like you got it,
good.
yep.
Thank you for seeing me, appreciate it very much.
You're welcome.
Well, I think you have a letter in which I stated some of our concerns. Did you get that pack of information? And it outlined 3 areas. So I just would like to make some comments related to that. Especially because I owned 13 Ruby at one time. We also bought 14 Ruby, so we have clear background at one time as what happens when you rent your property and you live so close to each other that it becomes a disturbance because of one driveway. So when we bought the house across the street, 14 Ruby, and renovated and then sold 13, we did so knowing that we were selling to a nice couple that had families and that they were going to live there in peace, not as a short-term rental or operating it as a motel. It really is. You know, local law 18 with New York, they really now have clamped down on this because it just creates problems. And we have already experienced 2 years of their short-term rental. Of course, this was before we brought up being a good neighbor. You're like, you need to get a permit, you know. And so we were hoping to just dissuade him from getting, making it a short-term rental because it's traffic. It's one 360-foot driveway, and it's shared, and it's constant. No matter what the owner says, if he tries to limit it, you are going to hear, you're going to have people coming and going. It can say 12 people, but it's never 12 people. It's more than that. It's 4 cars. It's just one driveway. And so if it wasn't for the common easement and just the saying, hey, this is a common easement and a maintenance agreement, you know, as a good neighbor, I plow it, I fix the trees, I planted all the trees. I still talk to him, and I just told him that we're against this. Imagine you with your 3 kids and me doing the same thing to you. Just because you go to New York City and you don't have to face these challenges, we would. And we have experienced challenges, people coming on our property, parking on our property, and that was just from the year that we have been here doing this. And then, of course, we're hoping through these comments that we would have and would pursue this, if necessary, further. But we just hope the town would just say, look, it's a unique situation. Not everybody has a shared road. Not everybody has a common easement, and we would just request that it would be denied. It would just make things easier. And we would hope someday in the future, I'm sure we may not be the only people in the town who may have challenges with short-term rentals, but our circumstances are unique, and we would just appreciate the extra consideration in this.
Thank you.
Any questions for me?
I was just looking at the Zillow listing just to get a better idea of the property from a satellite or like a distance. And which part of the driveway is shared, just because this image is actually not.
It's the entire driveway, all the way down from Sapphire, all the way to the end. It's about 400 feet of shared driveway. When you get to the very end,
it's a photo of the
there's just
house.
a little tiny
Yeah.
area where he's able to park cars on his side, and then I have a roundabout, which we put in, and that's all part of.
They could even block that roundabout
They
too.
have.
Yeah, they have. So, yeah. Anybody?
I have a question. Would he have room to make additional parking on his side to alleviate the problem imposed in the past that happened where you said people were parking on your side?
He has a septic system in the open field next to his house, so
Not
unless he
possible.
does some major removal of landscape and things, he could find some more additional parking if he was to do something. But right now, it doesn't. There's just no room.
We have the survey for the lot lines to just confirm like where the driveway is shared to, or
So Rip Noblin, the assessor, would have that. If there was a survey provided for the property, not all properties have surveys on them, so we'd have to check with the assessor
Both
for
of us
that.
have surveys. They're up to date. Both of us have, I know because I sold him the property. And then he did some pull. And then we ourselves, because of the renovation and the permits, have very, very current surveys done on the property. And the
Is the-
idea that anybody uses the driveway, no one uses that driveway. Even though, I remember a lawyer last week, or a couple weeks to you, made comments, could be used by others, but no one, just us, used that driveway.
Is there any physical separation between your property and his property? Are there fences? Are there trees or bushes or anything
There
else?
are some trees. Now, I planted 150 trees before I sold the driveway. If you ever go there, so you're more than welcome to come. It's a beautiful driveway. I'm very
We'll
proud
just
of it.
park in it.
Yeah, just, but you can't, and so I planted the trees, but down by his end, now, and we've experienced, it's a quiet, anyone that goes on that lake, you hear it. Even though there may be distance, when you're in an absolutely quiet neighborhood, you hear everything. You just hear everything. So it's different when it's your neighbor and it's him and it's children, and that's what we were hoping for. I told him I'll buy it back. Because I didn't know you were going to make it into a motel. And so, because there was this kind of gentleman's understanding up front. So if there's anything you can do, and then if we have to pursue this, then I guess we'll just do that. It's worth by the way, we moved here 11 years ago. Love the town. We've been came here for volunteer work, ended up staying, and just enjoying the community. So we appreciate all that you do. I've seen these meetings before, so
Thank you.
it's odd being here before you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for the
James Haran. Just a reminder, you'll have 5 minutes for public comment.
James Horan from J&G Law, appearing on behalf of the applicants in this matter. Regarding we had made a submission with the photographs of the screening that was requested. I would hope that the board had reviewed that. With respect to the driveway, there was a survey that was submitted with the original the second submission for the application, but it doesn't go all the way out. There is a subdivision map which we could provide, which shows the boundaries of 14 Ruby, because that was some property was added to that back in the 1990s, and that subdivision map shows the length of Ruby Road. Ruby Road pre-existed these properties, or the driveway right-of-way agreements. So the right-of-way agreements basically just talk about how the driveway will be maintained. I had submitted a letter along with the photographs explaining the issues with respect to the driveway. Also with respect to the criteria particularly with respect to parking, the code requires I believe 4 off-street parking spaces, which is present here. It's the first I've heard about any parking on the neighbor's property. The driveway agreement provides that there is no parking on Ruby Road itself. There's a 2-car garage here. There's a driveway. There's also a pull-off, which is shown in the submission that we made. My understanding is that the building inspector had inspected the premises and had determined that they met that requirement. With respect to the 5 criteria that the board looks at, criteria 1, adequate parking facilities, which I addressed. Criteria 2 deals with new construction, which is not applicable here. The structure and lot are conforming with respect to the requirements of the zoning chapter, as well as all of the zoning requirements, which is it's a 1-acre zoning, then the lot consists of 1.2 acres. that it meets the setback requirements. The adjoining residences in the yards are generally afforded a reasonable degree of privacy from view by applicants of the proposed vacation residence or partial vacation residence by imposition of landscaping and prior fencing. The photographic simulation, or photographs that were submitted, show a very dense evergreen tree line, which screens 13 Ruby Drive from Ruby Drive itself and from the neighbor's property. The only access, or the only break in that tree line is the driveway location itself. And in the photographs, you can see that as you look out the driveway from 13, the front of 14 Ruby Drive is screened by plantings on their property. So even from the driveway where there is a break in the vegetation, you can see, you can't see the house on the other side. What you can see is the driveway for 14 and the garage and that parking area. The fifth criteria is with respect to the number of permitted short-term rentals. My client had done an investigation of prior short-term rentals that have been approved by the town board. There was 5 as of the date of this writing, and none of those are nearby. The closest one is 137 Berry Road, which is about 2.18 miles away.
Time is up.
Okay. And if the board has any questions? Respectfully, we would ask that the board close the public hearing and consider the application.
Thank you, Mr. Hahn.
I did just have a question.
Sure.
So how many spaces are there in total on your property, or the property?
So there's, I would say that there's probably 4 within the driveway. There's 1 pull-off to the side, and then there's two spaces within the garage.
And those are all on what is distinguished as just your
Correct.
use of the drive? Okay, so not including
That's
any
within the
shared
Right. there's
use
no-
of the driveway?
Right, the shared driveway, that is in the submission. There's, you can see the overhead. The cul-de-sac that was created is actually within, most of it's within the right-of-way of Ruby Road, and then approximately half of it is on the neighbor's property on 14. But the access into 13 Ruby Drive is through that cutout in the vegetation. And that's basically more or less the property line, and then the Ruby Road right-of-way abuts that. Ruby Road goes from Sapphire all the way to the lake. So the right-of-way extends all the way to the lake, and I believe that the Yoga Academy up front has rights to get to the lake over Ruby Road, from what I've been told.
Anybody else have any?
Just to confirm, because you added that piece about lake rights, do you have any, or that would be in the deed, just evidence? Like if we are actually not allowed to approve an application, if you're saying that you will be renting it with use of the lake, I do not believe that we're allowed to approve use of that kind of thing unless, pools or anything that's not in the actual sort of deed or associated with the main property that's being rented.
Yes, so what parcel access shows is the lake is owned by,
I just wanted to confirm, is that an accurate interpretation? I know that it's in there for pools, and we're really only supposed to be, to my understanding of the law, so just wanted to confirm that.
I actually don't know because I didn't know if the property was adjacent to the lake, so we'd have to look into that and get back to you on that.
I mean, the lake is owned by the religious society in fee. So it is not, I don't believe it's a public lake. It is a private lake.
It's not if
Meaning it?
serves.
Is
I
that-
don't think it's deep enough for that.
No.
Oh, so there's no use of the lake as in swimming or?
No.
Okay, that's what
No.
we're not allowed to, from my understanding, I don't want to like make a statement that's not
Yeah, there's
correct.
there's
It's a
no
relatively
lake
new
rights,
law.
There's no beach here.
Okay, so that was my concern is that in reading the law, my interpretation was that we are really only allowed to allow these short-term rentals use of properties and pools
Right,
and things
and
that are
that's-
associated directly with the house that they would
Right,
be renting.
there's a pool
Yeah.
here on the, adjacent to
Yeah.
the deck.
Okay,
But, yeah, it's not, there's no beaches or anything on this lake, and I think the last sheet on the submission was a photograph of the lake from Google Maps. So, but yeah, there's really not much on the lake. It's not, accessible to the public.
right.
And with respect to, the neighbor's complaint with respect to noise, there's a limitation here on 12 guests. The history of recent rentals was people who were visiting West Point, people who had students at West Point who were there. And, the rental here is relatively high. So, because of the value of the property, you can see from the photographs, the landscaping is very well maintained. The property owners here use the property. Their intent is to use the properties. This is just, some supplemental income when they're not present.
Thank you, Mr.
Sure.
All right, so would we like to keep this open for another meeting?
I would like to do that just to make sure that the shared driveway is also, because that's really, looking at this, in my own opinion, this is like, everything to me seems taken care of except that aspect.
Of the parking?
It is,
Okay.
as you say, very, like the landscaping, I mean, you shouldn't have planted those trees if you didn't want an Airbnb across the street from you because it's beautiful and private. So that is, I'm really just looking at these pictures and it is, the most privacy that, from these photos that I could expect other than the shared driveway. So I would just really want to
Okay.
explore that.
So then let's keep it open to June 3rd. I'll make a motion that we keep the public hearing open for the short-term rental for 13 Ruby Road to June 3rd at 7 PM or immediately thereafter.
I'll second.
Call the question?
A question? I think we're just going to confer with the building inspector and just ask a couple follow-up questions and make sure that we're interpreting the law correctly as far as it comes with like lot lines and privacy, because part of the driveway is your neighbor's property as well.
Take a look at those surveys that are
Yeah.
on file, seeing as though they're very recent.
It's just a newer law, so I think we just want to be err on the side of caution. But I do want to just assure everyone who is, affected by the short-term rentals that with noise and everything, this is why we created this law. I've been doing a lot of research and working with the building inspector on this to make sure that everyone who is hosting via Airbnb and doing this is doing it legally, because it gives the town a lot of power and purview. If we receive complaints, it can go through our building department, it comes to us, and we can actually revoke permits and things. It's required that a manager manage these properties and be on call and available at all times to neighbors. So it's the best that we can do. Like these rentals are going to happen. But this code, it actually protects the neighborhoods and the neighbors as well as we can. So yeah.
Why don't we call the question?
Yep.
Call the question?
Hingham, aye.
Scancarello, aye.
Cool, aye.
Richardson, aye.
Okay, thank you very much. And then the next one we have is a motion to open the continuation of the public hearing for short-term rental application for 649 Lakes Road. I make a motion that we open that.
Second.
Call the question.
Hingham, aye.
Scancarello, aye.
Cool, aye.
Richardson, aye.
Do we have any?
Yolanda and Ramon carry on. Just a reminder, you'll have 5 minutes.
Can you just come up to the? Oh,
And the applicant go first so that
can we
he
switch?
can provide
Sure.
a rebuttal.
Jonathan DeJoy?
Hello, everyone. Jonathan DeJoy from law firm Catania Man and Ryder for the applicant. At the last meeting, we talked about privacy. The board asked us to provide some more information on that, so we provided some additional photos, some videos that were hopefully helpful. We talked about some other measures relating to privacy that we're going to take, such as signage, potentially a fence, and adding additional foliage if the board feels that that would be helpful. And with that in mind, we would ask the board to at least close the public hearing tonight and hopefully vote to approve the application. Sorry, is that better?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Joy.
Thank you.
Is that all that you wanted to say?
Yeah, I think that's all. Hopefully everyone got a chance to review my letter.
Yep.
And if you have any questions for me, I'd be happy to answer them.
Do you have anything from?
I just have a question in relation to his statement to the attorney, but, so basically, I personally, looking at those photos, and I believe Mr. Cardone as well, did not feel that this landscaping specifically constituted privacy. It's different trees than what we've just been looking at with the prior submission, with their evergreen, they're screened, they're very close together to provide a privacy wall, whereas these trees were just maple trees, relatively, spaced out, relatively open. And if we felt that we wanted to ask him to improve privacy, would that have to be sort of, he would leave and then come back again to apply, or like how would that look? Just in this hypothetical, if I said, I don't feel that it's private enough and he's just offered, and the landlord has just offered to, as best I heard it, that you would install a fence, that he would improve that, and how would that look if we made that request? Like, what would that look like from our end?
So in my conversation with Brian Nugent today, we discussed this, 649. We discussed the video, which I'm sure you're going to discuss when you come up. So why don't we save these comments until after we hear from the carrions, and then we can take it from there.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, Mr. DeJoy.
Yolanda and Ramon Carrion?
Make sure you talk directly into the mic.
Hi, can you hear me?
I can.
Okay. So, as you had mentioned, my wife had sent in some videos. I also accompanied the videos with a letter summarizing a few of the points of my concern regarding the situation. To address the applicant's approach on privacy, I looked at the pictures that he submitted, and he's taking the pictures from the house towards Lakes Road. And there are pretty much a good screening between the house that's in the application and the main house. My issue is, where's the screening between his property and my property? There is very little. The code in New York City offers 80% of obscurity. I don't know what it is here. I follow the code in New York City because that's the code I enforce. I think that the bigger picture is and I see there's a common theme going on here. There's a lot of short-term rentals that are coming into Monroe. I see that most residents here are very concerned about the equality of life here. We all live up here. We take care of our property. I don't want to go through the same thing again, but there's something that has to be done about this in terms of the enforcement of the code. I'm not against, just so the gentleman behind me hears me very well, I'm not against the short-term rental. What I am concerned about is the enforcement of the rules. If you give this application a go-ahead, how do we know? And I live 18 inches, my property is 18 inches away from that wall of that house. How do I know that they're going to follow the noise ordinance? How do I know that I'm not gonna have undesirable things happening next door, right? The parking is under control. Is it gonna be under control? Am I gonna come home and see cars parked in my driveway? Is there gonna be debris all over the place? You know, who's gonna pay for additional garbage, right? We pay for it, right? Now, there's gonna be additional garbage. We need enforcement. My suggestion has always been, I hate to say it this way, but I'm getting a little bit short on it. Tax it.
You are right up my alley. I just spent all last week finding every illegal rental I could, and I'm like, you know what?
Tax it.
Chester just had a law, let's do it. I mean, there's like
Let's do it.
20 illegal ones I
Tax
found.
it. They're gonna make a tremendous amount of money. Fine, great American way, all right? But tax it, let's hire some more building inspectors, let's get them out there on the road, let them go check it for themselves, let them have the ability to shut it down and do the right thing. And before I end, I've got 2 minutes. One of the things that I want to put on the table regarding this particular situation, this house that they're planning on using as a short-term rental has a lot of problems. They have to do a lot of upgrades. Our code, Monroe code, say if you have a life safety upgrade, the house now has to qualify for C of O. It's extremely important that we look at that. That house was built in the 40s. It's got asbestos issues. The flue on the house is too short. Fumes are getting into the house. I know this. I've been doing this for a long time. There's a safety issue with this house. And if he's gonna get the approval, I would hope that we would enforce the code and tell him, you must fix the house so that you can issue a C of O. That's the rule. We should enforce it.
Thank you,
Good
Mr.
seeing
Carrion.
guys.
We'll miss you.
We're gonna
once
miss
this is
you.
over.
I have a copy of the letter if you want a hard copy of it.
I have a copy in my,
Yeah, we got them.
And everybody was able, everybody
yep,
saw the video?
I saw the video.
I did have a question on the video. Is your property slightly higher than the back of that property?
So we're at a slightly lower elevation.
You're
There's a
lower
little
than-
rise, and then he goes down a little bit. But to the back of his house, and that knoll, that rise, that's the easement. That's where his septic tank is at. It's on my property, right? So, but it's okay. I understood it when I bought the property, and I'm fine with it. But the back of the property where he has his deck and the parking area is at the same elevation as my property, and it's exposed. So whoever comes to park there, I'll see them, I'll hear them. Whoever's in the back on the deck, I'll
That's
see them, but I hear them.
definitely a
That's-
privacy issue. Yeah, that's why we.
That's the comment that I wanted to make. In watching that video, I was shocked to see exactly how close that chicken wire fence that's up
That's
there is to the
18
side of the house.
18 inches is close.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why I'm here. You know,
Yeah.
Understood.
I have nothing against anybody and anything like that, but I like my property. I have grandchildren.
You make valid points.
I'm glad you love it. I'm glad you love it.
You're
Thank you
very
very
welcome.
much.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That's all for public comment.
Thank you. All right, so in talking with Brian earlier today, we talked about receiving the new information on the video, the privacy issue. One of the things that we can do is we can close the public hearing tonight and then, put this on the agenda for the following meeting so that it gives the board some time to really review that video, review that letter, and, we can make a decision in 2 weeks, if that's something that we're interested in doing.
I think we've heard everything that, like all the
I agree.
evidence, so
I
we
agree. I
can
think
close
we're
it,
gonna
but we
go
don't
around
have to
in circles.
decide.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I agree.
Okay, so then I'd like to make a motion that we close the public hearing for 649 Lakes Road, short-term rental application. Call the question?
Singham, aye?
Scancarello, aye.
Cool, aye.
Richardson, I.
Okay, excellent. Okay. The next public hearing is, I'd like to make a motion that we open the continuation of the public hearing for the proposed local law, EV1 of 2023, Chapter 41, Sewage Systems Revisions. Mary?
Brian is not here tonight.
I need a
and-
second.
Oh, yes.
Second, I'll second that.
Call the question.
Okay, Bingham, aye.
Scancarello, aye.
Poole, aye.
Richardson, I.
But he did send a red line version. Since it was received late, I still need time to review that to make sure it's in complete, exactly the same as what was sent by Sean Arnott, the engineer.
Yep.
So I would ask that this be continued again, maybe till June 3rd, just so that I have ample time to review the red line version, and that would also give Brian Nugent time to make a clean copy, and we could possibly vote for adoption next meeting.
Okay, excellent. You want to make a motion for that?
I'll make a motion to hold the public hearing open till June 3rd at 7 p.m. or as soon thereafter as possible.
Poole will second. Call the question.
Bingham, aye.
Scancarello, aye.
Poole, aye.
Richardson, I.
Okay, excellent, thank you. And then we have another public hearing I'd like to make a motion to open the public hearing for the continuation of the public hearing in relation to the increase and improvement of facilities of the Water District Number 8.
Bingham will second.
Call the question.
Bingham, aye.
Scancarello, aye.
Poole, aye.
Richardson, I.
No public comment?
Okay.
And basically, we haven't heard anything yet regarding grants. We do have our monthly water meeting tomorrow, so maybe I'll have some more information at that time. But the WIA grants, I believe, are June 14th seems to be the date that's in my mind, that by then, the newest application deadline, that's June 14th.
So,
Yeah, I
We-
spoke with Dave earlier, and he sent me an activity report at 6:14, the deadline.
would you like to keep this open into July, maybe?
Into July, probably we only have one meeting in July, so
That's
that
the
would be July
15th.
15th,
Yeah.
15th, right?
Okay, you want to make that
Yeah.
motion?
I'll make a motion to keep the public hearing open till July 15th at 7 p.m. or as soon thereafter as possible.
I'll second.
Call the question.
Bingham, aye.
Scancarello, aye.
Poole, aye.
Richardson, I.
Okay. And to continue the water show and the Mary Show,
The Mary
I'd like to
Show.
make a motion to open the continuation of the public hearing in relation to the increase and improvement of facilities of Water District Number 14.
And Bingham will second.
Call the question.
Bingham, aye.
Scancarello, aye.
Poole, aye.
Richardson, I.
No public comment?
Okay.
And that one, we also reached out to Congressman Ryan's office, so we're, again, waiting. Maybe we can keep that one open until August 12th.
Excellent.
Okay.
Go ahead, make that motion.
I'll make a motion to keep the public hearing open till August 12th at 7 p.m. or as soon thereafter as possible.
I'll second.
Call the question.
Bingham, aye.
Scancarello, aye.
Poole, aye.
Richardson, I.
Okay. All right. Moving on, we have the acceptance of minutes. Has everyone had an
Just a
opportunity?
quick comment. The estimated response time for the congressional application is fall 2024, just so everybody knows, the one
Right,
that you're
but we
referring
also
to.
have, I think, a WIA grant out there too, so.
Right.
Okay.
And we can always keep it open. I mean, we've had it
Yeah.
open for
Yeah.
how
Yeah,
long?
I just want to let you guys know,
I
like,
think we're going on years
probably
now.
not July.
All right, very good. Has everyone had the opportunity to take a look at the May 6th meeting minutes? All right, any questions, revisions? No? All right, I'll make a motion that we accept the meeting minutes of May 6th, 2024.
Bingham will second.
Call the question.
Bingham, aye.
Scancarello, aye.
Poole, aye.
Richardson, I.
Okay. And now, have the general fund abstract. Nope, I went too far. Here we go. So, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the abstract number 24-06, general fund, containing checks number 35256 through 35319, totaling $515,029.60.
Will second.
I just want to,
Well, okay, so we seconded for discussion?
oh, yeah, for discussion, please. Just looking at something that has my elected training listed twice.
I believe there was, I saw that, yes. So in
For the
there, there
same
was a check voided and then they reissued the check.
Yeah. I was like,
Yep, we're not paying
wait.
twice for it, don't worry.
Okay, yeah, that should be good then.
Okay, good. So call the question?
Bingham,
Oh, do we
aye?
have, did we, yes, we got a
Second for
second for
discussion by-
discussion. Yep, call
Yeah.
the question?
Bingham, aye?
Scancarello, aye.
Poole, aye.
Richardson, aye.
Okay, excellent. And now moving on, we have new business. As we said earlier in the meeting, this weekend is Memorial Day, so we will have our Memorial Day Parade, followed by a post-parade barbecue, which is hosted by the American Legion Post 488. As in the past, we have supplied a donation of food for this barbecue, and this will be a joint donation for American Legion Post 488 and American Legion Post 1573 and VFW Lake Region Memorial Post 8858.
Actually, I'm sorry. Could we, is there a procedure for like if I'm noticing something on this?
Do you want to go back?
Yeah.
So let's finish this, and
Okay.
then when we finish this, we'll go back to that. Okay, so I'd like to make a motion that the town board approves the donations in support of the 2024 Monroe Memorial Day Parade Post-Parade Barbecue hosted by the American Legion Post 488, American Legion Post 1573, and VFW Lake Region Memorial Post number 8858, not to exceed $2,500.
I will second.
Okay, any questions? All right, call the question.
Bingham, aye?
Scancarello, aye.
Poole, aye.
Richardson, aye.
Okay, excellent. All right, so now you want, did you?
Yeah, so I actually came in today to just collect my mail, and I found I had gone and had to request records from the village in regards to the Morangi contract, and then the village, I had called them, and, I'm not their trustee, so in that case, they don't make anyone foil or pay, but their policy, Kim's policy, is that for intermunicipal, she did require me to foil it and pay. And I put that in, and it is marked down under the general fund abstract earlier on in the same, like there's my name listed twice, and then you're saying it was, where did it go? It's like on the last page, hotel for AOT elected training 395, check 35306, and then records from Village of Monroe, check ID 35306. That was not issued to me, and I received a post-it note saying this wasn't approved, and I just spoke with Jen Schnars earlier today about how I had come and used those records and given them and made sure that we had everything that the village had. So I'm not sure what's going on with the $20 because it was not given to me, and I was actually told that it was not being approved and handed back the paper and then resubmitted it today. So
Okay, so then did you want to recall the question regarding the audit of claims?
I'm not familiar with how this works so much to do, I don't really know how to handle if there's one dispute.
Have we ever had one dispute in the past
that I
before?
can recall,
No, I
no.
don't recall that either.
So I would
These
say-
checks were canceled and then reissued and only one was reissued?
But that now that one is going to be resubmitted, I'm assuming.
Well, but why were they canceled?
What did the note?
I can't answer that
The
question
note
for you.
didn't give you a reason, so I would
No.
say let it be resubmitted, and we can find out.
So, but this total includes, this total for 515029, doesn't this include?
It would include anything listed there.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so then we can recall the vote for the audit of
Yeah,
claims.
I don't think it's accurate for the two reasons, because if it's counted twice in this total, it would be wrong for the fact that it's,
Roberta's excellent
Yeah.
at
well, mistakes.
finances, so
mistakes
I'm
happen.
sure.
It's not, typos or whatever, so.
Right, so would the board like to recall the vote for the audit of claims? Is my question.
I think yes, because it's accurate.
I think there's a lot of checks there that need to be sent out.
So, yeah, so if there's a mistake on
We
it,
can make an amendment to an audit of claims?
I would suggest. And then tabling it until next.
Well, I think
see.
our concern is that there are checks that need to go out. So there is a process for us to amend audit of claims that have previously been approved.
We're basically
believe
trying to
so.
send all the rest of, the money that needs to make it to
Right.
essential
So-
billing.
So let's, why don't you discuss that with finance?
I would
And then
hold-
if need be, we can always amend.
I'm just
Yeah.
concerned that
audit
we're
of claims.
approving an inaccurate document.
Right, so I
Yeah.
would say hold off and don't approve the,
Don't approve the audit of claims. Recall the vote.
yes.
All right. I'll make a motion that we recall the vote of the audit of claims for audit of claim number 24-06, containing checks 35256 through 35319, totaling $515.29 and 60 cents.
Will second.
Call the question?
Bingham, aye.
Scangarello, aye.
Who'll aye?
Richardson, aye.
Okay, and then we'll
Table it?
table this audit of claims. So I make a motion that we table the audit of claims, number 2406, to the June 3rd meeting.
Second that motion.
Call the question?
Bingham, aye.
Scangarello, aye.
Who'll aye?
Richardson, aye.
Okay. All right, 7.2, we have Town Hall summer hours. As we can see by the weather today, summer is upon us, and there's a smile on my face. So, historically, we have approved summer hours for the employees here at Town Hall, and those hours would be Monday through Wednesday, 7:30 a.m. to 5 p.m., and in order to achieve this, they would take a 30-minute lunch. And then Thursdays, it would be 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. with a 1-hour lunch. And on Friday, Town Hall would be closed. And this would be effective beginning the week of June 10th, with normal business hours of Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m., resuming the week of October 14th, Monday, October 14th. So from June 10th through to the Friday prior to October 14th, which would be what, October 11th, we would have these summer hours of Monday through Wednesday, 7:30 a.m. to 5 p.m., Thursday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., and closed on Fridays.
Second for discussion.
Sure.
I think it's been working wonderfully the past couple of years we've done it. We actually saved some electric costs because we don't have to do the air conditioning and the lighting on Friday. So I'm in favor of doing it one more year.
Okay, excellent. I'd love to make this a county-wide thing. You guys are lucky. So call the question?
Bingham, aye.
Scangarello, aye.
Who'll aye?
Richardson, aye.
Okay, excellent. We don't have Mr. Patterson here today. He had something on the agenda tonight for highway school. The registration fee for highway school. So the Association of Towns of the State of New York and the New York State LTAP Center Cornell Local Roads Program in Ithaca, New York is on June 3rd to June 5th, 2024. There is a registration fee of $125, which is the membership rate, and that includes the school and the lunch. The hotel accommodations are $139 per night, which is a discounted rate secured by Orange County Highway Superintendents Association. So that would be June 3rd through the 5th. You'd have 3rd and the 4th, so 2 nights in the hotel, plus whatever food would need to be covered. Breakfast and dinner.
5:30
$539 for the hotel.
registration in the hotel.
Okay, and then we need a little bit more money for mileage, and then also for other food. So what are we thinking? I think we might need more than 6, though, because that's only going to give an additional $60.
The 2 nights or 3?
2 nights in the hotel.
Well, 2
Oh, I got
nights would
3rd,
be.
4th, and 5th. I had
Yeah,
3. Okay,
yeah.
so I was wrong. So it's 1/3. It's
So that's an additional
or
130.
100.
Okay,
So that's a good number then.
600.
600.
Okay. So I'd like to make a motion that we authorize the Highway Superintendent James Pat Patterson to attend the 2024 Highway School, sponsored by the Association of Towns of the State of New York and the New York State LTAP Center Cornell Local Roads Program in Ithaca, New York, from June 3rd to June 5th, 2024, not to exceed $600.
I will second.
Call the question?
Hingham, aye?
Scancarello, aye.
Poole, aye.
Richardson, aye.
Excellent. So moved, in the words of Supervisor Cardone. All right, now we've received a petition, I'm sure everyone has seen this, for a zoning change on Larkin Drive. Has everyone had the opportunity to review this? So what we'll need to do tonight is simply set a public hearing for this zoning change. Val, can you tell me when we set the other public hearing for the?
That's for June 3rd.
That's for June 3rd. Okay. And I feel like there's a whole lot going on June 3rd, so I'm thinking,
Only one in,
you want to push it to July? July 15th? Set that public hearing?
I'll make a motion.
Sure.
We set the public hearing for the rezoning of Larkin Drive, section block lot 2-1-29 for July 15th at 7 PM or as soon thereafter as possible.
I'll second.
Excellent. Call the question.
Bingham, aye?
Scancarello, aye.
Poole, aye.
Richardson, aye.
All right, so moved. All right, then the next piece of new business is equipment surplus, which are the Round Lake boats. So the town of Woodbury reached out to the town of Monroe regarding the swan and duck boats that used to be out on the lake. Town of Woodbury is interested in purchasing the whole lot. We received a value of them from an independent agency, and that put the 4 swan boats at $450 per boat and 2 duck boats at $300 per boat. The town of Woodbury is okay with that, so they'd like to purchase the whole lot.
I think it has to go on Auctions International, and then anybody can actually bid on it just in case.
Yeah,
You
do
know,
we
some
actually
other
have to?
town out there may,
So I
Want
don't know that we have to put this out on Auctions International.
Dylan?
We've already got an offer, and the numbers are higher than the appraisal.
there-
No,
company.
that's
Is
not
there a
the issue.
requirement?
Yeah.
yeah, I think it is.
Is there a dollar amount or a?
They'll
Yeah,
have
when
to-
do we know when things have to be put out to bid? I'm too new to know this.
You just repeat this the one question.
So
Sure.
we, so
Sure,
there's
so, well,
bidding.
we have a set of swan and duck boats that had previously been used on Round Lake. They've been deteriorating in a box that the maintenance department has. The town of Woodbury is interested in purchasing the whole lot. And they've agreed to the valuation that we received from the industrial appraisal company Salvage. And so, you know, the town of Woodbury is ready to purchase these from us. We were looking for a board resolution to do that tonight. But there seems to be a question of whether or not we have to set this out to
We
Auctions
don't have a resolution
International.
ready for tonight anyway, so we need to go out at least at the next meeting, so. At least at the June.
Okay, all right, so then we'll table this till the June 3rd meeting.
Then also we would have to declare it surplus like we do with highway equipment.
That's what we're trying to find out.
You're
Is
right.
there a
And then-
financial
It's
threshold?
Surplus.
surplus. so.
Yeah. So I think it would be 2 separate things, one surplus and then one resolution to put it on Auctions International or allow Woodbury to purchase it.
Yeah, that would be up to you, but I would, whichever one you decide.
Well, if that's up to us, then we don't need to wait until June 3rd.
We're trying to determine our legal responsibility for whether we can just sell these to Woodbury or we are required as municipal, property to put it out to bid.
I would say do it at the June 3rd resolution.
Yeah,
so
just to
it's
be
all-
safe.
Yeah, in writing.
Table
All right,
till
so
June
we'll
3rd.
table this to June 3rd.
I'll make the motion.
Oh, so I made the motion, you,
Then I'll second.
okay, call the question?
Bingham, aye?
Scancarello, aye.
Cool, aye.
Richardson, aye.
All right, and then the final piece of new business is the Monroe Volunteer Ambulance Corps Agreement, the 2024 agreement. This had been before the board previously, and there was a change to it regarding the charge, the fee that would be paid to the ambulance corps. And that was in paragraph 5. So now we have all of that back, and we are ready to move on this. So I would like to make a motion that we approve, that we authorize yes. I'd like to make a motion that we authorize the town supervisor to sign the 2024 agreement with the Monroe Volunteer Ambulance Corps, and that we approve this agreement.
I will second.
Any questions?
The only thing is the ambulance corps
Yes.
is now going to charge $1,500
Per
per
call.
ambulance call, but they usually go by what the insurance pays.
Yes.
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 Okay, so that was the only change.
I don't even think it's a negotiable aspect from our point of view. It's just something we,
It's the
you know.
insurance companies. But as I don't know, Acting Supervisor Dory Houle stated, that was the paragraph that changed.
Yes.
5.
So it was paragraph 5 that changed. Everything else remains the same.
Okay,
Okay?
good.
All right, call the question.
Bingham, aye?
Scancarello, aye.
Cool, aye.
Richardson, aye.
Excellent. So that completes the new business. We don't have.
Can I
Yeah.
add one thing from the floor?
Sure.
Can we have our attorney look into short-term rental tax?
Yes, please, I second that. That was going to be my little motion that I made. I would like to actually look at what Chester just
Well,
passed.
before we discuss.
Yeah.
Let's call the question.
Bingham, aye?
Scancarello, aye.
Cool, aye.
Richardson, aye.
Okay, so,
Oh, did we get a second?
yes, you
Yes,
seconded.
okay.
You seconded. Yes, so we will direct the attorney to take a look into what other towns have done regarding fees. I have had several conversations with town supervisors throughout the county, and also Mike McGinn, regarding some sort of constable or, some sort of enforcement element that we'd be able to have that would be able to do some of these things regarding short-term rentals, regarding property maintenance, regarding anything else that would fall under the purview of a constable.
You
So-
available for a part-time job, sir?
So,
You're retiring in August. Okay, so that's great. So we may
So that's a
have,
possibility.
we will be looking for your application then.
so specifically, as it relates to the hotel Airbnb tax, you can actually cater that where the funds would go directly to preservation. So the very thing that all the rural communities are concerned about, it's causing privacy issues and taking away from the serenity. Any money, as well as the code that we will be strictly enforcing, and Ben, our building inspector, will be strictly enforcing. And once again, it is very strong code, and it is the purview of our building inspector. And any complaints actually come here, and he can actually take care of it rather than having to go through the courts for a lot of other code that we'll be taking a look at. So I was reassured by that knowledge that he can actually personally look into that permit and putting those people on probation, the landlords on probation, and really protecting neighbors, their rights. So, but for the hotel and Airbnb tax, Mary, did you want to add any, did we need to add stipulations?
Well, I think we
Well, I
just
think we
need
need
to
the
have the
research
attorney
first.
look into it first, see what the other towns
Yeah.
have.
Okay.
And then we can discuss at a later date.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
And set public hearings.
And we'll also have to keep in mind that, a portion of this will have to go to cover, whatever enforcement, added enforcement. So we'll take a look at that, but let's first find out what we're able to do, and then we'll move forward from there. Okay, excellent. Anything else? All right, so let's public comment. Do we have anybody signed up for public comment?
Tom Lawrence.
All right, excellent.
Just a reminder, you'll have 3 minutes for public comment. After Tom Lawrence is Rick Colon.
Oh, Mr. Lawrence,
Hello,
how are you?
I'm terrific. I'm here from Friends of Walton Lake, and I want to thank you all for the support that you gave. Sal, the pizzas were great.
I didn't make 'em.
We have two members from Friends of Walton Lake, Ralph Penna and my wife Susan Stewart. Councilwoman Richardson and Liam filled, I think it was 3 trash bags full of garbage.
And I'm still store.
We're going to have a barbecue over at the American Legion, and I'm happy to report that those grounds are clean, thanks to our cleanup. This cleanup was started 3 years ago. My brother Andrew was the founder of Friends of Walton Lake, and 3 years ago, Ralph decided, hey, we've got to clean this lake up. And we got how many tires did we pull out of there? 57.
57, yeah, wow.
We pulled out of Walton Lake. So we're here tonight to just say thank you. We felt very, very supported by the board. I'm sorry Tony isn't here. Ralph dealt directly with Tony to get the dumpster out there. The village of Chester, of course, Walton Lake is their water supply. They also pitched in and helped us out. So thanks a lot. We're going to come back to you next year because this is
Excellent.
This is turning into an annual thing. We had new residents from Monroe who showed up because they wanted to pitch in.
Good.
And it was just a terrific day. So thank you.
Well, I'm
very
glad
much.
it was a success. And
Very
thank you
welcome.
for doing that. Thank you for all your work.
Rick Colon. Okay, Rick is going to pass. Liam Weishart.
All right,
That's it for public comment.
all right. Well, we don't have anything for executive session
I do.
tonight.
I have multiple questions for attorney-client privilege, actually, so
Would they be able to be answered tonight?
I'm not
though we
sure.
don't-
I don't know.
I wouldn't know until I hear.
Sorry, what?
I wouldn't know until I hear the.
Well, yeah, that's the whole point of attorney-client privilege, though.
Okay.
So,
All right, so we'll go into, I'll make a motion that we go into attorney-client session.
Second.
Call the question?
Bingham, aye?
Gorilla, aye.
Pool, aye?
Richardson, aye.
Okay.
Okay, so we hear the questions, and then we know